What's up, everybody? It's Big Matt and Little Matt from Ham House Sports. Today, we are starting Ham House Sports Guide to Sports Card Collecting and Investing. This is going to be a new series that we're going to do 10 parts for.
And we just felt like there's a lot of people that have been reaching out to us about different things in the hobby. You know, which cards to buy. How do you know which players to look for? All these different types of things. So we really wanted to kind of create a comprehensive starting point for people who have either been in the hobby for a while and they kind of need a refresher, or people who are looking to kind of get in the hobby and really, you know, use it as a way to not only kind of make some money and grow their collection, but to build relationships and kind of all the above. So does that sound about fair?
Sounds great.
All right. So we've been at this for how long now, Matthew?
9 months.
9 months. Now, I think a lot of people might go, well, you guys have only been doing this for 9 months. So like, what gives you the right to make a video? And so I just wanted to say, first of all, like, we don't claim to be professionals.
No, we're not professionals. We're not perfect at this.
We're not charging for this. You know, there's a lot of guys that charge for this, and more power to them. We're just doing this for free. This is what we've learned. So we're coming at it from that angle. And the first kind of video we wanted to do was really just talk about like why sports cards is even a thing. Because one of the things we talk about, Matthew, with people, like people will come up to us and go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize the cards were like why do people pay that for cards? Like, why is this even a thing, right? So let's talk a little bit about why sports card collecting and investing is even a thing.
Yes.
So we watched this video on the history of sports cards. What was cool about that to you?
So what's cool about it to me is like basically America's pastime is baseball. Everybody knows the sport of baseball. If you live in America, it's like classic. I played baseball. He played baseball. My grandpa played baseball. His grandpa, like everybody plays baseball, right? So basically it started off how in the 1800s, the people that made baseball created this own league, and these cigarette companies would make little cards to make the cigarette packs look bigger and make them more firm, but they would use the cards of those players. And some of those cards, like the 1910 T206 set, has some of the most iconic cards in the world. And that was cool to me that, like, there's just a nostalgia, like you said earlier, that, like, these cards literally came out of cigarette packs, and they're little pieces of cardboard from 100 years ago that they can still be in existence, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I think one of the neat things too is we live in a modern age where things are all digital, right? So it's like, oh, I got all these pictures on my phone, they're all digital. Or, oh, I've got this money.
Or crypto.
Yeah, crypto, it's all digital currency. Or, oh, I've got this money in my bank account, but I don't actually see it. Or, oh, I'm invested in the stock market, and it's the money's over here and I can see it on paper. This
is like a true asset that you can hold. Like, we can hold this. Like, this is right in front of us.
It's a hard asset. I think there's something unique about the fact that you have a hard asset that is a collectible that is tied to a big part of the history of our country, sports, nostalgia. Like he said, you know, my dad told me stories when I was growing up about how he collected when he was a kid.
And I just think that's cool because, like, we're almost like getting it back from what they did. Like, I guarantee you my grandpa ran 5 of these Willie Mays cards through his bicycle spokes, and now we own SGC 5.5 of it, which is super cool to me. That, like, we can kind of earn that back for him, or like, that's something that's neat to me.
Well, it's also interesting too that, like, in the early 50s, Topps became a bubblegum company, and they started putting cards and bubblegum packs.
The first year was 1952, the most iconic year of Topps.
That was they had the Redbacks, right?
Yes, in like 50, in the early 50s.
Yeah, and then Topps had the 52 set. So that really is when everything started. And so,
fun fact, over 500 cases of 52 Topps were dumped in the ocean.
Really?
Because they overproduced them so much, and everybody wanted Bowman still, and so nobody bought them, so they just dumped 500 cases in the ocean.
Interesting.
You get a soggy Mickey Mantle.
So you've got all of these stories, right, about sports cards. Oh, my granddaddy had that card, or oh, when I was a kid I had that card, but I tore it up. And the reality is a lot of people didn't value the cards back then. It was just a kind of a fun hobby, and that's where the rarity of the cards comes into play, and that's what helps drive the value, which we're going to get to later. But the first thing I just wanted to say is, like, why sports cards is even popular, or why it matters. It's a hard asset. It's connected to history, right? There's nostalgia in it as far as like, oh, this is something that my dad did or whatever. But there's also the idea of like connection. Like me and my son get to do this together. My other sons, we get to do this together. You build relationships with people who do it.
In the hobby, like
yeah, it's like
super
golfers,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of golfers that will never play in the PGA, but what do they do every Saturday?
Go out on the course.
Go to the course and they play golf, right? It's a hobby, you know?
Yeah.
And guess what? They might gamble a little bit. They might play a little captain's choice, win a little bit of money. It's no different with anything that people love to do. It just is a really unique way because sports is a big part of culture. So I think that's the really the first video we wanted to tackle
Yes.
is, you know, why sports cards.
And like sports is one of the biggest things across the whole world. Like there's not a single country that really like doesn't do sports. It's like, and there's different cards of every single sport. There's cricket. Is there cricket cards?
Yeah, oh yeah,
There's
I guarantee there are.
Cricket cards. There's gymnastics
Yeah,
cards.
soccer,
there's soccer,
golf.
Like there's cards all over of all sports, and sports, like he said, it's just part of the culture. So if you're a sports fan and you get into this, it's just like, man, I didn't know you can make money watching your favorite players play and have autographs of them.
Yeah,
It's just super cool to
absolutely.
me.